It has been a good amount of time since Gojo versus Sukuna, yet we're all still debating on who is the strongest. I want to look again at this monumental fight and see who truly is the strongest of the two, and does the strongest always have to win? Hello and welcome to another Jujutsu Kaisen video. With season 3 coming out, I see that everyone is starting to talk about the future in sight, which is Gojo versus Sukuna. Regardless of the outcome of the fight, everyone's still debating on who truly is the strongest, and without wasting any more of your time, let's get right into it. First, I want to make something really clear, and I feel like for some reason it is confused or misinterpreted. Gojo and Sukuna were going full out 100%, no questions asked. They were both spamming domain expansion and using everything that we felt like was capable of in Jujutsu and exceeding that. Everyone likes to quote Gojo when he says Sukuna couldn't go full out. That doesn't mean that Sukuna was holding back, more in the sense that Sukuna couldn't use his full arsenal because of Gojo's infinity. Let's not mix up the two things. If Sukuna was truly holding back, he wouldn't have been knocked out cold here or screaming for Maharaga here. Let's start looking at Gojo. Yeah, let's start looking. Okay, sorry. We got a video to finish. Gojo has the 6 eyes and is limitless, a genius that is capable of expanding on that power far beyond any previous user. We can see that Gojo from a very young age was trying to perfect and extend the potential that he had. After his battle with Toji, Gojo saw his weaknesses being exploited. Not being able to use limitless at all times, he created a way to have it always up. Not being good at close quarters due to his reliance on limitless, he made sure that these hands were rated E for everyone. Now we move on to Sukuna, the king of curses, and that alone is a huge statement in and of itself. He is able to do things so quickly and learn so fast. For example, with Maharaga, he knew exactly what was happening and how Maharaga was adapting to his slashes, able to see this so well and just so much understanding of Jujutsu, in terms of strength as well. At 15 fingers, no one was even able to touch him. Jogo is a perfect example of this. He is a top tier curse and he was just getting manhandled. It was just unfortunate that Jogo only had to fight 2 characters and they happened to be the strongest characters in the verse. So after that quick overview, let's look at the conditions of the fight. Gojo had been unsealed and Sukuna took over Megumi's body, now using the 10 Shadow Curse technique. Something that I hear people saying that Sukuna wouldn't have won without the 10 Shadows. Even Gojo states not knowing if he would win if Sukuna didn't have the 10 Shadows. Yet I feel like we're assuming that the 10 Shadows completely carried Sukuna. It definitely helped in a lot of cases during the fight, but Sukuna using the World Cutting Slash from viewing it one time is insane. And it isn't the first time that he had done this. Immediately after seeing something, he masterfully does it, like how he saw Gojo heal and brain with RCT and he was able to do the same. It just shows how adaptive Sukuna really is. I do want to touch on how Sukuna could have beaten Gojo without the 10 Shadows. There's a debate to be made that Gojo could have beaten Sukuna since the World Cutting Slash wasn't a thing until Maharaga has shown Sukuna. Yet, I think it's not fair to throw only these what-if variables at only Sukuna. Like, what if Gojo didn't have Limitless or the 6 eyes? We have to look at the fight and see how adaptable each fighter was and how they pushed each other further and further. Seeing that Sukuna was applying new concept that he just saw during this fight just shows how adaptable he is. This is why I believe Gojo believes that he might not have been able to beat him even without the 10 Shadows. Sukuna might have just come up with it on the spot at his own time. Yet Sukuna did beat Gojo with the World Cutting Slash from Maharaga, so it's kind of safe to say that Gojo could have beaten Sukuna if Maharaga wasn't there. It's a safe assumption to make, since there were many times during the fight that Maharaga saved Sukuna, and it's not just him alone. The 10 Shadows as well did do a lot of heavy lifting, like being able to make it a 3-on-1 fight and also allowing Sukuna to hide in the shadows and observe the fight and observe the World Cutting Slash. One thing we all have to understand is this was more than a fight of just pure strength. It was also a fight of ideals. Sukuna threw everything away for power, and Gojo believed that loving and caring for the weak is what gave him his power. Seeing that Sukuna was making binding vow after binding vow just to get an edge up. There is still a scene that has everyone debating, why didn't Gojo see the World Cutting Slash? I know that Gege stated that Gojo let his guard down, and I do love Gege's writing a lot. But this, at this moment, just felt a little awkward. I know Gojo's cocky, but I feel like at this moment, he wouldn't have let his guard down. And I feel like it would have been a crazier thing if it was a binding vow on Sukuna's end. I think it would have been so cool if he made a binding vow that allowed him to use the world cutting slash with little to no cursed energy buildup and not to have to make those hand signs as well. In exchange, he would have to always use hand signs to do the world cutting slash. And I believe in this artwork, Gojo is seeing the world cutting slash at the last possible minute and being caught off guard here. I know I've been gassing up Sukuna a lot, but we also have to agree that Sukuna was fearful of losing a lot of the time during this fight. He had multiple moments where Gojo had bested him. He felt uneasy for the first time, as the narrator stated. Then we have him screaming for Maharaga to stop Gojo's hollow purple, and we have lights out here. So looking at all of this, we can state that Maharaga helped a lot in the fight, but Sukuna was willing to do everything he can in order to beat Gojo, taking the 10 shadows to see if Maharaga could adapt to Gojo's infinity, finding, learning throughout the entire fight, and constantly pushing Gojo, and Gojo pushing Sukuna himself. What is my thought on all this? Who is the strongest? I still believe that Gojo is the strongest, but I have to say, the strongest person doesn't always win. Sukuna did so much to show that he is the master of Jujutsu, adapting to the fight and needing to get past infinity. Domain expansions weren't good enough to put down Gojo, so the world cutting slash was needed. I find it so amazing that it seemed like he always had a plan from the beginning since he met Megumi. After fighting Gojo, he wanted to get past infinity right away. Sukuna is always looking for more power, and this was his path to do so. Gojo definitely did work on Sukuna, even with the 10 shadow technique. It was a beautiful fight, and I know 100% they're gonna make this fight into a movie. I just appreciate that this fight allowed both characters to flex and adapt the entire fight. It was just Sukuna was willing to do anything to get a one-up on Gojo. I believe Gojo was stronger than Sukuna, but Sukuna was more adaptable and quicker to end Gojo during this fight. I also kind of just don't like discussing stuff like, what if he didn't have Maharaga, then he wouldn't have won. Yeah, like if Gojo didn't have 6 eyes, he wouldn't be strong. So let's just look at the fight for what it is. And it's not a bad thing that Sukuna had Maharaga. Like, look at the fight as a whole and how it turned out. Seeing how they both put their all into this fight, fighting with all their strengths, their different ideals. Seeing why Gojo lost and what Sukuna was willing to do to beat Gojo. Just amazing writing and a truly generational fight that I will never forget. And I have to admit, you just had to be there on leak day. It was another experience, man. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. I would love to discuss with you why you think Gojo or Sukuna is the stronger sorcerer. I feel like there are so many different variables and small factors that could change the fight completely, and the outcome would be entirely different. Please be respectful in the comments below, and let's have a productive and fulfilling conversation. Thank you again for giving this loser the time of day. I have been your bestest bro, and I'll see you when I see ya.